Welcome, Sue. How are you today?
I'm good, Sarah.
That's good. Today we're going to be talking about getting to know you.
Oh,
I know, the first one. So let's just jump on in. So what was your first ever job?
my first job would have been when I was about 12 years old. I worked as a kitchen hand in an Indian curry restaurant, and I can remember after I finished that job, my mum burnt my clothes because it stunk of Indian curry. Couldn't get it out, but it taught me how to work hard, scrub lots of pots and pans, and I had a horrible boss who just treated me like dirt, but hey, gave me some thick skin.
Oh my gosh. Do you know, I actually didn't know that.
There you go.
I learnt something new today as well.
And my dad also had a push bike and a motorbike shop. And so I used to go there after school. So I used to do that as well because I used to race motorbikes when I was a kid. So I used to race motorbikes.
I knew that.
And then I used to go into the shop and I would sell them. So that was kind of fun as well because I always wanted to make money from the youngest of ages. So back then, I used to get $5 an hour, I can remember.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good
I
job.
thought I was rich, $5 an hour, yeah.
That would have been a lot back in the dinosaur
I
ages.
know, right? That's the entrepreneur in me.
Oh, I love that. All right, so what have you done between now and then?
What haven't I been doing since then? So, that was back when I was like 12 years old. When I was 13, I hated school. I never went to school, was always in trouble. And my mum said, well, if you can go out and get yourself a hairdressing apprenticeship, because I wanted to be a hairdresser, she said, you can leave school. Thinking, what 13-year-old is going to go out and get a hairdressing apprenticeship? So I went nuts. I went for every job interview imaginable and ended up getting an apprenticeship. And I can remember the day I came home and I said, guess what, Mum? I just got an apprenticeship. She went, oh, Susan, you little bugger. Because she knew then that she had to let me leave school early and she just never, ever thought I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I think my tenacity started at a very young age. So I left school, became a hairdresser's apprentice, which, boy, if you want to work hard, that's what you want to do. They work you like dogs back then. Seriously, all I did was like wash hair, clean up, scrub floors. Didn't do very much that was glamorous. But I got a good training, and by the time I was 17, I was, what was I? I was the assistant manager of a big salon. Then I stepped up to being the manager, and after that, I ended up leaving them. And, by the time I was probably 17, maybe 18, I was general manager of 13 salons.
Wow.
So I had 130 staff under me by the time I was 19. So I think I've always been a bit bossy. But that was back in Adelaide. So that was fun. I did that for years, and then I built my own house and then got bored and sold it all up and went to Queensland and started up a hairdressing business in Queensland. Then I was a big hippie back then. I had, long hair and had my nose pierced and, my hair was all, dready. And
Wow.
I did the whole hippie thing and I started a great business. Then I made my own hair, body and skincare products with no chemicals in them.
Ahead of your time.
Ahead of my time, I ran salons for John LaCourte and Stefan, who back in the day they were...
Yes.
You'd know who they were.
Yeah.
Back in the day they were like, everyone knew who Stefan was in Queensland. I sort of stumbled into television presenting where I was on Good Morning Australia every day for years. So I used to go into Channel 9 in Sydney and I used to record all the stuff with... A lot of people know Moira.
Yes.
She's still working today, Moira. I did a lot of stuff with her. I sold products. I sold every product you can imagine.
Yeah.
I then went into running a music and film academy in Sydney, which had one in Melbourne. I was general manager there. Then I moved across to being general manager of the largest film, music and scoring stage in the Southern Hemisphere, which was at Fox Studios. So I did that.
Oh my gosh.
What did I do from there? From there I sort of taught myself photography, left there, became a photographer, was a corporate photographer. I had a studio where I did just, family photos and stuff like that. But then I fell into wedding photography, taught myself how to be a photographer, taught myself how to do wedding photography. And from there, it's kind of morphed into where I am today with weddings. So big, long career, and I think I've probably forgotten a few things along the way. I've done that much.
Did you ever find time to sleep in there?
No, I'm a total insomniac, as you know. I've never slept in my whole life, I swear. So that's why I get so much done, because I don't sleep. I'm up at like 4 a.m. I get my brides, they'll email me and say, Sue, I got an email from you at like 4 a.m. I'm like, yeah. aren't you up? They think I'm crazy.
That's still the middle of the night for me.
I know. I see, but I go to bed early.
Yeah.
I go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So by 4 in the morning, I've had like 7-8 hours sleep and I'm raring to go. My brain's really sharp that time of the morning.
You go, girl. I love it. So how long have you been in the wedding industry?
Oh, wedding photographer for well over a decade. And God, now more into the wedding planning side of things, coming up 10 years. So I'm nearly 2 decades in the wedding industry. And starting as a wedding photographer gave me so much wisdom, knowledge on the entire wedding industry. Because say if you're a florist, you do the floral component, and if you're hair and makeup artist, you do the hair and makeup component. If you're a DJ, you do the music component. But when you're a photographer, you can be there from the morning till the end of the night, and you know every single part of the day. And that's what gave me so much knowledge into understanding wedding planning.
Yeah, I can relate. Wedding planning and wedding photography, they kind of go hand in hand in a way, because as you said, a wedding photographer and a wedding videographer are the only two suppliers that will be with you the whole day. Obviously, a wedding planner would be as well if
but
you had one.
But they're not there in the morning when you're getting... The girls are getting ready, then at the house when the boys are getting ready, and then you're at the church or wherever.
Because they're off planning and getting things all set up and ready.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And everyone has to run around you when you're the photographer or videographer, because they can't do a thing without you there. So you're always liaising with other suppliers about schedules. And I would go up to planners and they would say, oh, we're doing this. And I would go, but that doesn't work. Like, I'll be over there and you want me to be there. And I was finding that I was giving them advice. And it was sort of on those days, and I'd be so many hours driving in a car. I might drive 3 hours to get to a wedding. I might be at a wedding from 9 in the morning till midnight, then 3 hours driving home. Like, I could be working for 16 to 18 hours a day. And my brain was just going with everything that happened on the day. So I started recording into my phone, thinking, I've got that much up here. I need to somehow journal this information so that I can teach people about weddings, which is hence sort of what started me on the process, which led into books and sort of to where I am today.
I know, I love all that.
I know, right?
It's so good. So how many weddings do you think you've been a part of over the years? Well, it's over 2 decades.
Yeah, it's coming up to 5,000. And people just sort of go, well, how can you? But no idea how many weddings I'm involved with on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And when I had my photography business, it grew to, I had 9 photographers working under me at one stage. So I was juggling 9 weddings in a day. And it's crazy, but that's why I don't find it difficult now. Like wedding planning, when I'm at my venue doing weddings, I have people come up and go, I've been watching you all day. How do you do it? You're just like, you don't stress out. I'm like, I could do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Because I've done it so many times. And people are overwhelmed by how I can just handle everything with no stress. But when you've done something for that many years, I'm so confident with it. I'm always learning new things, but the basics always stay the same.
Yeah.
So just experience. Lots and lots of it.
And where on earth did you find the time to fit in writing a book around doing all of this?
Well, the beauty of it was being on the road, it meant that I would record it into my phone. So then it was a matter of just transcribing that into text. But my first book was 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
Purely because I was so busy with everything else that just to do one chapter, and I alphabetized when I started to go, okay, well, let's start with, I think one of my first chapters, beach weddings and boobs and bridesmaids and brides. Well, by the time you actually got to Z, there's 66, 67 chapters. One chapter, if that took me days on and off to complete and get it word perfect, 66 times, and then how to get it put into a book, which is hence when I met Sarah all those years ago. One of Sarah's jobs was starting to compile it into a book, and she's done all that and my updated books, and I go, I've got a new book idea, and she just goes, oh, great, okay, yep, just send it to me, that's fine. And I do that. If I get an idea, I don't procrastinate. I'm not a person that just thinks about something. I just go, that's a great idea, and I start doing it. I've done it by the time I've even finished thinking about it. Is it going to work? I don't know. Let's just do it and see if it works.
Yeah.
And we just had this discussion not long ago this morning.
We did.
About how many things we've done over the years which haven't worked. So what? Didn't work.
Next.
Try something else. Next. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's no failure in business. You just got to give it a crack.
Well, there's no failure in life, really, because you're constantly learning and evolving. So,
And, so many people think that failing's such a bad thing, and if you're not winning, it's such a bad thing, and I just don't care about any of that.
it's
I just
about
want to
the
have a go.
What is that
Well, no,
saying?
it's about,
the journey, not the destination.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
you can focus so much on achieving something that when you achieve it, it can be a little bit of a letdown.
Yes.
Because the journey's so exciting along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, good saying, that one.
It is a good
I've used that many times. Like, my partner is so impatient, and when we maybe say, let's go away for a few days, a couple of hours drive, and it'll be like, oh, get out the way, you're going too slow. And I'll just go, can we just not relax and enjoy the journey? And he'll be like, no, I just want to get to the destination. And I'll be like, just enjoy the journey. Yeah, very different we are. Opposites.
And it balances out, I'm
opposites
sure.
attract. That's very true.
So what do you spend your time doing these days?
So these days I'm always, coming up with new book ideas, social media with, goodness me, we're going through it this morning, TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. There's so much going on and so much information to share out there with people who are getting married. And I have a lot of wedding suppliers also contact me that they love following what I do as a supplier. I'm giving them tips as well, redoing books, updating books, new formats. We just, finished another book about sort of mini books. My book covers everything. However, there's lots of mini books inside books, whereas you might just do a few pages on one topic. There might be a mini book in that, which is hence, what we've been doing now with how to choose the perfect wedding dress. To me was a book within itself. When the pandemic hit and I had to work out how to do weddings, I had no one to tell me how to do weddings in a pandemic. I just had to get these stupid rules and regulations from the government and go, okay, how can we throw a bouquet when you have to be 1.5 metres away from each other? And if the bride throws it, she's touched it. Then if the maid catches it, she'll get her germs.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
Yeah.
But I came up with some great ideas and hence wrote a book so that would help brides planning during a pandemic and suppliers planning weddings during a pandemic, which now, thank goodness, it's gone, it's over, it's never coming back. So that book, that's how to stay now, that's gone. But I look back at that book sometimes and go, wow, I can't believe how much extra work I had to do a wedding during a pandemic.
But then also the rollover effect from that, postponing weddings, trying to rebook people thing in.
We're still catching up.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Still playing catch-ups today.
Yeah. And what's that, like 3 years later?
Could even be coming into close to 4 years into, because I think it started at the end of 2019?
No, beginning of 2020.
Yeah, so just before Christmas there was niggles of stuff going on that we all just didn't really believe. So 2021, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We're coming up to close to 4 years.
Yeah.
And we've still got couples now that have had to move 3 or 4 times. And what happened was they moved and then got pregnant.
Oh,
so then we had to move it again another year. And you couldn't say, well, no, you've got to accommodate your couples. So, yeah, I think it's going to take us till, I reckon I've still got another couple next year.
Wow.
Still lagging over. And then we're done, it's over.
Far out.
And so many businesses didn't make it.
I know, that was so sad.
I think 50% of the wedding industry went under.
Wow.
And afterwards, I think they realised how nice it was having their weekends and working a 9-to-5 job, and they never came back. No, who wants to work 9 to 5? Not me.
Oh no, you just want to work from like
24/7.
three till
7 days
8.
a week. I think it depends how you look at work.
Exactly, and if you love it or not. Because if you love something, you just want to do it all the time anyway.
Well, I was listening to Gary Vee, as you know. I'm a bit obsessed with Gary Vee, and just this morning he said, "What is it? This word work." Why have people got such an obsession about the word work? It's like, oh, I've got to work. I can't do that. I've got to work. It's such a bad thing. I've got to work. And I've never, ever thought of work like that. To me, it's just, that's what I look forward to doing when I open up my eyes in the morning. I'm excited to get on what's going to happen today. What can I create today? So I think if you don't think of work as work, it's just work's just my life.
Yeah.
I do like downtime as well, but I'm fine.
But you are one of the many blessed people, or the few blessed people, that actually do wake up and do what you love.
Yeah.
So I think that is the difference with the work thing.
I think it's not even being blessed. I think it's having courage. Because if you hate your job,
point.
Just get the hell out.
Yeah.
What are you doing waiting there? Like, where you're sitting there being miserable, you could be out there, pounding the pavement, they used to say, knocking on doors and finding something you love to do or starting something you love to do. So I've always had the courage to walk away from really good jobs, and I've always had very good jobs in high-level management, to go out and start on my own from the ground up with nothing, because I couldn't just not be happy in my work. Your life's way too short for that.
Mm-hmm. And it's good that you're being true to yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's why, we discussed this morning too, that sure, I talk about weddings, but I love talking about lifestyle, and I'm into health, and I love sharing my cool recipes and my little health and beauty tricks, because I was a hairdresser for 20-something years. I was a beauty therapist. I was an aromatherapist. I was a massage therapist. See, I forgot all that.
Oh, my goodness.
I made my own skincare products, which I've still got all my recipes in books at home. I'd love to make them again if ever I had the time.
Wow.
So I've got so much experience in so many areas that why can't I share that? And that's why I love kind of blending it all together.
Absolutely.
So that's why you'll hear me talk about really random things, and you go, what on earth has that got to do with weddings? Well, it's got to do with lifestyle, and weddings are a part of lifestyle.
Oh, I like that very much. Very much. Well, now knowing all of this, what does the future hold for you?
Just really getting my messages out there to as many people as possible on a global scale. Because no matter what country you live in the world, weddings are weddings. Mm-hmm. You've got different traditions, and different cultures do different things. Weddings are weddings. Couples are still couples, and they've still got to get through and be married for the rest of their life. So I just really want to just capture the biggest audience I possibly can. And that's why we work so hard every day at, right, how can we get to this people? How can we get to that? How are we going on TikTok? What can we do now? Uh-huh. Do we have to be stupid? Do we have to be serious? What do we have to do to get people to understand weddings don't have to be as difficult as they think? Let me help you with them so that you can really enjoy the wedding planning process. So the future is just more of the same. More work, more fun.
Sounds good.
More fun.
I like the
But
fun.
work is fun.
Yeah, that's true.
We laugh so much when we work sometimes that we have to just stop in the middle of podcasts because we're laughing so much we can't even continue. And that's what work should be like.
Yeah.
But don't have too much fun, Sarah, because then I think you're not working hard enough.
Sure thing. Yeah. Well, thanks, Sue, for chatting with me today. It's been lovely getting to know you a bit better, and we will speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Sarah.